What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at some new cards from Power of the Elements, as has been the theme. And one of the new cards that really intrigues me is this Evil Awakening Master Nightmelt. It's a magical scientist-esque card, but watered down so significantly that it probably won't matter, but it does feel like on paper it has a neat effect that's at least worth looking at, and I assume in the coming weeks as we get more acclimated to the card pool, people will find ways to combo with this. What remains to be seen is whether or not those combos are actually going to be useful. So we will take a look at Nightmelt in just a moment, but there were a couple of other cards that were announced that I couldn't find a place for in other videos, so I figured we'd throw them in here and just kind of get them out of the way. Starting off with Hidden Jewel of the Hydrosphere. This is a level 2 water rock monster, which is a unique typing for sure. You can discard this card during your main phase this turn, and you can normal summon one earth or water monster in addition to your normal summon or set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. If you control an earth monster and a water monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. So the initial impression is that being able to discard this card and get an additional normal summon is definitely a neat effect. We don't have a lot of cards, if any, that do something exactly like that, and it's cool to see them branching out and going a bit more creative with these cards that are generally pack filler. Now, Earth has a lot of stuff coming out, from the Vernalizer Fairies to Ishizu's new cards to the new Earth Charmer that we haven't even touched on yet, but will be in an upcoming video, as well as other cards scattered across upcoming sets and releases. Water, of course, has, a lot of really good cards, and of course Mermail Atlantean is one of the first things that comes to mind, but those new tier element cards are neat too, and I'm sure there will be more water support as the Duelist pack gets here, and so on and so forth. The problem, of course, is that water and earth are not typically played together, with the rare exception perhaps of Adamancipator, which can splash both in, and it might be worth looking at in that deck. Where I think you could see some application for this card is with its first effect, if decks can find a way to utilize it, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. On the surface, it definitely feels like it's better than your usual generic pack filler, but it doesn't feel like it really warrants a video or topic of its own, just something to say, this might be a decent common to hold on to at some point for future use. I can't say the same for Unlimited Free Radio Jamming, which is a continuous spell that is wordy as all hell, that basically says, during damage calculation, if a monster battles, while a monster with 1,000 or more attack is on the field, all monsters on the field lose 1,000 attack and defense for every 1,000 attack and defense they have. And then if this card is destroyed, it applies that same effect. So, if you have a Blue Eyes White Dragon on the field, which has 3,000 attack, and a monster attacks it, it's going to lose 3,000 attack, and it's going to lose 2,000 defense, because it scales and it does not round up, so basically you're taking away increments of 1,000. But it affects every monster on the field, so unless you're playing a deck where all monsters you control are less than 1,000 attack points, in some kind of low attack beatdown type deck, it's really not going to do much for you. And even if it did, it's battle reliant to a painful degree that doesn't do much of anything for you in the other ways that you would want it to. It doesn't destroy, it doesn't protect, it just kind of sits there and does what other cards can do better. So this is the literal definition of a pack filler card. Still, didn't have anywhere else to slot it in, so I figured we'd quickly touch on it here, just so those of you who are maybe interested in collecting terrible cards with interesting art would have that wish fulfilled. Moving on to Evil Awakening Master Nightmelt, which is really the key card of this video that I wanted to focus on. Let's read his effect first. It's a level 4 wind psychic monster that says you can tribute one monster, special summon one monster with the same original type, attribute, level, attack, and defense as the tributed monster, but with a different name from your deck. Or if you tributed a monster, special summon from the extra deck, you can special summon a monster from your extra deck instead. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, there's a lot of words there, but basically, you have a Rescue Cat on the field. It's a level 4 Earth Beast monster with 300 attack and 100 defense. You tribute a Rescue Cat with this monster, and then you can special summon a Rescue Ferret directly from your deck, or vice versa. The stats have to match exactly. It's not like one matching thing or weird like Small World where things have to be kind of exactly one. It's quite literally the stats have to be identical, which limits your card pool, but also keep in mind we have over 10,000 cards in this game, and I researched this video for about 30 minutes before making it, so I definitely have not exhausted all of the cards that this can possibly target, which means that in the coming weeks people will likely explore the card pool more. You'll find people talking about other combos, and there could be something I'm not even thinking of right now, in which I encourage you, if you guys are reading this and you say, oh, this seems to have great synergy with such and such a card, feel free to drop a comment down below so other people can get some ideas, help with deck building, and so on and so forth. Of course, Rescue Rabbit, arguably the best rescue monster, or at least, on par with Rescue Cat, can't be special summoned from the deck, so any cheeky combos you could do are limited in that regard. Moving forward to something a little bit more, perhaps applicable, at least in terms of a casual playstate, of course, is Blue Eyes White Dragon, level 8 light dragon monster that is 3,000 attack and 2,500 defense, and of course, virtually invincible. You contribute Blue Eyes to special summon Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon from your deck directly, meaning you can, special summon Blue Eyes Alternative, you can pop something, and then you can sack off the alternative, and you can bring out another Blue Eyes from deck, thereby thinning the deck, reducing the number of vanillas that you need to draw, and so on and so forth. Of course, these are interchangeable combos, and I don't think any of the other Blue Eyes monsters have those exact stats. Wisely, of course, because Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon would be a great target, but it is a level 9 monster, and it has 2,500 attack, so it doesn't work with either of these cards. One of the things I did come up with, of course, just to sort of show that comparison, is looking at things like Borreload Furious Dragon, level 8 Dark Dragon Fusion monster that is pretty generically easy to summon. Now, I haven't been able to find just yet exactly what you'd want to bring out with him, which is where I'm putting it up to you. Do you guys know of any extra deck monsters that are the same stat line as Borreload Furious Dragon? He's easy to summon and has a revival effect from the graveyard, and is pretty generic overall. So, just food for thought in terms of these types of cards that I have to do further research into and see whether or not there are applicable targets out. Well, let's look at an actual fusion example I was able to find using Master of Chaos from the new Battle of Chaos set. It's a decent card overall with a lot of built-in effects, but it is pretty tricky to summon. However, a more popularly used card, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, does have identical stats to it, meaning you can sack off a Master of Chaos, perhaps that you've exhausted all use for, and directly pull out a Dragoon from the deck. Now, in any deck that you're going to be able to summon Master of Chaos, you're probably going to be able to summon Dragoon as well, especially with new cards like Branded Fusion. This is a lot more specific, Master of Chaos, in terms of what you need to use as material. But I just wanted to give an example of a fusion application here, and again, point out that this works well with Synchros. I was researching such cards as Borreload Savage Dragon, which someone pointed out is a pretty good card that could grab something. Now, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon has almost identical stats as Borreload, but it does have a different attribute, meaning it's not a viable target. But you can see that the card pool is pretty open and is going to need some exploration to see whether or not there are cards that combo with this better than just sort of its on-the-surface application. It's a really good card. If it was level 3, it would be nuts, because then you have the ability to bring it out with Emergency Teleport, and you can make some of these combos a little bit more live. But despite my initial excitement and overall thoughts that this is a pretty cool card, unless we can really get some better targets for it, it doesn't feel like it's going to be worth playing in most cases. The card itself only has one target, which is a Rise Bell the Summoner monster, and it doesn't actually do anything to advance your game state, so even though you can tribute the monster itself, it's not going to do enough. If they release a level 4 Wind Psychic with 1,500 attack, 1,500 defense, that Master Nightmare can directly tutor out, then we can revisit this conversation. But overall, what I want to do is put it out there to you guys. What do you guys think about this card? Do you have any combos in mind that you think might work really well? And drop them in the comments down below, because like I said, I'm sure there's things I'm missing. I'm sure there's monsters you can bring out that have similar stat lines. I know there's a couple of Red Eyes monsters that do, and so it's obvious that I didn't exhaust them all. I just wanted to paint the scenarios to help understand the effect. But like that said, you guys let me know if you enjoy the video. Please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Comment down below. The interaction really does help the channel in terms of boosting the videos, and I like to be able to read what people say and sort of go back and forth. And plus, this is going to be a card that's going to have the community talking, at least to theorycraft what types of plays you can make. That's going to do it for today's video. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.